he's been through the therapy. He's done all the hard work in terms of rounding out his story. He's 110 years old or whatever.
You know what? I don't want to slag off your country, but if they had a problem with like old criminals being in your government, I think we'd have a very different political landscape. Hello and welcome to Incomplete Geeks, a gay geek podcast where we talk about all sorts of geeky things. Sometimes we know a lot, but sometimes our knowledge is a little bit
incomplete.
That's John. I'm Nick. Are we having a depressive episode or are we just staring into your void?
Because we're going to talk briefly about Thunderbolts, the film.
The film, as opposed to the rock opera. Which would be great.
Rock opera would be nice. I would also accept a dramatic 2-act play with like a big old Eugene O'Neill.
Who's Eugene O'Neill?
Big play, a very important playwright.
Yeah, okay.
So Thunderbolts. This is the Marvel film that is the last film in Phase 5, as they're calling it. Thunderbolts Asterisk. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Go and see it. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing listening to this episode?
He was in hospital and he made time to go and see it.
I was in hospital for less than a day, but I was recuperating at home when I couldn't leave home for like 2 to 3 weeks. And literally as soon as, it was like, I wanted to get out and be a part of the world again. And the first thing that I did was went to go see this film.
Like a real hero.
Like a real hero. Not super, all I do is punch and shoot. And I still did.
Is that what they said? Punch and shoot or punch and kick?
So no one can fly? We just punch and shoot? Except for Ghost. It was very cute. It's very self-aware, this film, I think.
I fucking love this film.
Okay, you did. Okay, let's...
Thank God. That could have gone really bad.
Yeah, I said... Because we have a really good system where until we both have seen it, we don't say anything about it.
No, because we also forget the other person exists. So it's
of course, yeah. And so you didn't say anything about it.
No,
which was great. I avoided all spoilers because I assumed
which is impressive. I don't know
spoilers.
Did you see the spoiler about the new name?
No.
How?
No, because I think it's being stupid. And then literally walking through the cinema to the actual seats, whatever. I was like, ooh, we get to my partner. I was like, we're gonna find out what the asterisk means, and he was like, what do you mean? It just means New Avengers, right? And I was like, no, I think it just means something. It's not been revealed. He's like, it just means New Avengers, doesn't it?
And
I said, what are you talking about? He's like, in old posters for this film, the original posters had like New Avengers on the very bottom, like with the asterisk. I was like, I didn't see that. He's like, oh, okay. And then he left it. So we saw it. It was great. I have thoughts. It was.
Do you?
Yeah, of course I have thoughts.
Okay.
I didn't say they were good or bad. I just have things to mention.
I think the only gripe I really have, and it's not a gripe, it's just a bit like, was Taskmaster.
Yeah.
That felt a bit throwaway because I'm kind of like Ghost didn't have enough to do, which is a shame. She's the only one with powers.
Yeah.
If it had been part of her story that she followed orders when no one else did and she killed someone and then that was kind of part of her journey, fine.
Probably, yeah.
But they didn't address it again. It's like, oh, I just killed someone. Bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, but she didn't know. So I remember saying...
They all kill people. Yelena killed people in the beginning intro bit.
That's kind of the point, yeah.
Which is fine, but it's just felt like this poor character who was abused her entire life, didn't get to do anything. Everyone hated on her. And she was in the poster, and then killed.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised that she was eliminated pretty quickly. I do remember saying on this podcast that I didn't see her very much in the trailers, which led me to believe that she was not going to last very long.
No.
I was right. But also, the way they sort of deal with her character was Yelena has a line that's something like she killed a lot of people and then she died. Like that's how this life story of an assassin goes. But then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Disappointed because I know that Taskmaster is a very popular character and they did something different and unique by revealing that it was Dreykov's daughter in Black Widow. And I was like, okay, great. Now do something with that information. Do something with that character in that certain direction. I didn't even get in this film that like what her power sets were.
No.
I only knew that because I know the character.
I feel like there was originally in the first draft a plan to do something different. The original draft of the script was different?
Yes, the original. I remember reading somewhere or seeing on some YouTube video that they did have more Taskmaster to do in over the film, but I think the director decided like, no, we need to have some sort of heavy gravitas thing to bring these people together in some way.
I don't think
okay.
I don't think we needed Taskmaster in the film.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't think that. I didn't feel it was lacking her not being there. It just felt a bit like, oh.
And I think the thinking was, if you kill somebody who's just now introduced, then the emotional stakes aren't there. I don't know if that's true or not, because you could also have it the wrong way when you kill a beloved character like really early on and like it's never talked about again, and it just doesn't affect the other characters in any way. So I kind of feel like it almost goes to that point where, yeah, we talk about it, and yeah, there's a really good moment where Ghost asks about Taskmaster, like, okay, good, but like it doesn't actually have a long-lasting effect on like the plot.
No.
But
that's my only thing that I remember thinking like,
you remember thinking like you wished it was slightly different.
Yeah, everything else was.
I think that the only gripe that I have, and I don't want to start too much about gripes because obviously there's a lot in this film that I fucking loved. Like the gripes that I have are like maybe like 4 out of 5 out of 10 intensity level.
Sure.
Were the things that I loved about this film were like 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
So gripes aside first, I feel like the main there's no clear main antagonist for the film, and I don't think that's necessarily on itself a bad thing. But by the time I don't
think it's a bad thing.
I think the time the void comes along, it's dealt with relatively quickly, which I think lessens the impact of it.
See, I quite like that. I like that there's an antagonist that isn't a mustache twirling demon elf evil thing, because we've already met her.
Valentina.
Thank God. I was like, Valeria? No, Valentina.
Yeah.
We've already met her. She's obviously a fucking amazing actress. Mm-hmm. So there's no doubt about her like presence on the screen.
Yeah. Can you be? I imagine the director would be like, can you do Veep, but just not,
with super villains.
Just with super villains, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And I think that worked really well, rather than trying to make it. Because that's Marvel's biggest problem, isn't it? That the villains are hammy or cheap, or there's no threat, that sort of stuff, because they're big, crazy comic book villains, and they're going to beat them. Whereas having this political, kind of more insidious thing, where she's already been in a lot of the previous properties and that sort of stuff, and like, you're not going to kill Julia Louis-Dreyfus, so like she could still be here and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
I like that. It made it feel like not just trying to keep the Marvel thing going. I was like, it was just a good film. It's just a good action army film.
A good story. And I think that the point about the villain as well is like, it's not, her intentions are not, we're gonna destroy X city or consume planet, whatever.
Yeah.
Her intentions are to sort of, not be impeached, I suppose. And she kind of gets what she wants by the end of the film.
Yep.
It's not quite in the way that she was hoping, which I think is very interesting. But that allows her to survive as a villain. And the reason that story-wise, I get that a lot of villains are basically one-off, because the driving factor of a plot of a story is a villain doing something that is bad, essentially. And then the heroes have to come in and stop that villain from doing that for whatever whatever plot ensues. That's the plot of a story. That's how a story works. If it was just good guys hum-ho, getting takeaway for 2 hours, you wouldn't watch it. So you need a villain, and the fact that it's it's easy to get into the trope of the villain wants this thing, heroes rise to stop that villain from doing the thing, and that's the story, and then the villain goes away.
Yeah.
In terms of the void, like the void itself is not gone away, but it's still like a threat, which also is a kind of like, it's a way of keeping it around. I think I get the sense that when the Void appeared as an antagonist in trailers, people were like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't believe that's so, like, whatever you knew about Sentry / the Void beforehand, which for me was very little. I was like, let's keep it that way because I don't want to know anything about it.
Yeah.
But it shows up in the last 20 minutes and then it's kind of overcome. And I was like, okay, well, I was led to believe that this was the big bad of the whole film, that they're going to rise together and figure out how to defeat. And it ended up being such a small part of the film that I was a little bit sort of not let down, but I was a little bit sort of like, oh, okay, that's it. And like, it was fine. I couldn't see it in terms of this is the final hurdle. I was expecting it to be the big bad, which is kind of my fault. And also, again, no, but intensity is like 4 or 5. It's not that big of a deal, but that's my only niggle about it.
I get it. It's not that you're maybe not that you're disappointed or you think it was a bad choice, but if you're expecting a certain emotional build-up or energy build-up to be that, and it's over really quickly, it can feel a bit kind of like jarring sometimes. So if you thought this was going to be the whole thing was fighting the boy, and it's really just like, nah, let's just cap it off.
Yeah.
Because the real villain was depression. And that hit a little too hard.
I that was an interesting take. I'm down with this. Like,
I fucking loved that.
They didn't make it too hammy, which I think is the right way to do with it.
It could have gone bad, but I think a big part of that is because it was Florence Pugh.
Fucking hell! Let's move on to what we loved about this film, because
I'm really scared. I really don't want to put too much on her because everyone in Hollywood sooner or later is revealed to be a garbage person.
Oh.
So I'm trying to hold back.
Not everybody. Thankfully, not everybody. But
it's almost impossible.
You risk. Like, I don't want to risk putting her on too high a pedestal.
No, because I already think she's pro-Israel, and I'm like, I cannot.
Don't even say that.
I can't think of. So that's why I'm like, I can't build her up too much.
Yeah.
But my God, whoever either thought of getting her, fought to get her, or if she was fighting to get in and they cast her, you fucking genius, because she has
a raise.
So elevated every single of all 3 properties she's been in. It's her. She's from Little Women and whatever, and the Dead Thing, Midsummer, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. She's this, and the thing about wrestling families, she fucking owns that screen when she is on it. Every second she was on it in Black Widow, Hawkeye, and this. It's like, the second she was in Black Widow, you're like, she can run a movie. Yep. She can open a movie. She is A-list. Yep. You can build all of this around Florence. And they're like, shit, this is what we have to do. From this kind of, I think she is a real character, but
as an actor, you mean? Or
sorry, Yelena.
Yeah.
Is I think technically in the comic books. Tell me if I'm wrong.
She is in the comic books,
but she's like,
she's meant to be like she's like the Dark Avengers version of Black Widow.
Just
basically.
Another Black Widow.
And the way that like they brought, the Dark Avengers when they came out with Norman Osborn.
Yes, which is what this is, because they were the Thunderbolts.
Yes, they were. Were they? Yeah, they were. Weren't
they were the Thunderbolts first.
Yeah, and the Thunderbolts in the comics. I'm just so confused about who is and who isn't, but that's fine. It's the comic books is the thing that is a thing. But in terms of like Yelena, like I don't know much about her characterization in the comic books, but whatever they did with this character in the films, like, good for her. It's like she comes to it. She's not taking herself too seriously. She inhabits the role fully. She does wonderfully. She makes fun of herself, and she believes everything she does in terms of her, like, there's a void. I'm, lost my sister. There's this whole depression. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And the fact is, like, to go on with her and her interactions with Alexei, her dad, like, I don't really get on with his boisterousness and his sort of like, I love
his humor doesn't hit with you.
His humor doesn't hit with me. Like, I get it, it's fine.
Towards the like middle and end, I'm like, okay, I do get it, and I do find it funny, and it's charming and hilarious. But it is very much in Thunderbolts, unlike in Black Widow. It's one hit. Joke. Silly. Mother Russia.
It wasn't too much. Yeah, Mother Russia. I love communism. Let's sell out all of our things. Yay, capitalism.
It was a little bit much, but it's fine. I think we needed a zany comic relief, because there was none of it from the others.
It wasn't too much. It wasn't to the level of like the way that Love and Thunder went a bit too far with this.
Because he wasn't the main one. It kind of kept him as like, comic relief. Okay, and now we're back to Yelena.
So what I was saying, like, he wasn't the main one, and also his moments with Yelena just grounded him in a really, really good way. So in terms of him being this boisterous, over-the-top character, he was still a dad figure to her, and I think it worked really well. And whoever wrote, though, like, the writing was mostly really good.
It was good.
The moments like, oh, that's obviously exposition, but like,
I don't mind. That's fine.
The moments of like the family moments were really good together, and I was like, okay, good job, Alexi. That's you doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's you filling your role as a father figure to bring this team together. Not like yes, like enough of that.
Strong. Yeah.
That Winter Soldier, he's a very good guy.
What was that about? Super Soldier Serum.
Which one did you get? Very fancy. Fancy.
Anyway, they used him. He was felt a bit one note. He did have good stuff, but they only used him. They didn't use him too much, I think. No. Like the bit where the car shows up, she's like, "Oh my god, my dad's here." It was
great. That was good. Yeah,
it was
like,
logistically a nightmare. I'm like, where did you drive from? That is
like
so
Baltimore.
Like,
and it was like
that would have taken days, right?
Do they say where they are in the film?
I feel like it's
because I watched some.
I assumed it was like a New Mexico desert, but that just could be an assumption.
Somewhere in like the big open west. So that's at least a day, a day and a half of driving. And if it can't go more than 50 miles an hour or whatever, like how do you do that anyway? Comic books. So Yelena's great.
Florence Pugh is brilliant. Her acting chops are incredible. The way she can be hilarious and so genuinely heartfelt. When she was talking about like I'm all alone and the depression bit, I was like, this is a little bit too real.
I was like, hey,
I don't like this. Like, oh my god,
please blow something up quickly.
No, let's just go punch someone. Can you just punch a kick?
Let's talk about John Walker, because John Walker, I wasn't excited to see him in this film.
Well, I hate the character because you're supposed to.
You're supposed to.
And he plays an asshole wonderfully.
Yes.
An entitled asshole. And he plays it great.
There's a moment when in the back of the van where they're like, do you like my gun? Is it long? Do you like how long it is? Whatever. Like, do you like the helmet kind of thing? Like that worked really well because that also, again, grounds him a little bit. So he's always like this wisecracking, hey, Bobby, this asshole kind of character. And then they're just chit-chatting, and he plays it so well he doesn't realize that is it Yelena and Ghost in the back seat going, oh yes, it's a great helmet, yeah, you really impressive, yeah, well, and he's like, thank you, I like it too. I was like, well done. Those are the moments that you need in a film like this, just to sort of balance the character. Because if you have, again, like Alexi, if it's too one note, you're bored.
Yeah.
If John Walker's too much of an asshole,
if he's too much of an asshole, like when you first meet him, when Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Winter Soldier, yeah.
When you first meet him and then this sort of stuff, it's very easy to think, I hate him, I hope he dies, I'm never going to like him. Mm-hmm. But I don't like him, but they do a good job of kind of making you see, they're like, oh.
Yeah. And in that TV show as well, there is a good amount of his backstory.
Yeah.
See him as like the high school.
Yeah.
He's got this sort of background of this all-American, homegrown, whatever.
Ego-fueled, manipulated, all that kind of stuff.
Even if you don't have sympathy for that, like, you still get it.
Exactly. Like, I would never be friends with a guy, but I do understand why he lost the plot a little bit.
So he was all right. I don't think he had a lot of growth, necessarily. I wanted him...
That's fine. I don't need everyone to have a huge amount of growth.
No.
I don't think he's the guy you go to for that.
He didn't learn... It doesn't matter.
No.
But, like, I wanted... The one tiny moment I wanted him when they're all when they're all in the void, and they're being trapped, whatever. I wanted him to sort of because you have Bob slowly crawling up towards the void to try to sort of overcome him, and he gets beaten back by this flying debris. I wanted John Walker to be like, to have some kind of comment like, keep at it, keep going, like, don't stop, because it would have been a callback to something else he said earlier in the film. And I was like, that would have been good if he said that. Okay. But anyway, he didn't. That would have been like, yes, you have a connection now, John Walker. You have a loop. Like, you're actually sort of learning something. Like, okay, this Bob character is not some sort of unnecessary civilian that we need to protect. He's actually useful and he's, powerful. Anyway, John Walker. What about Bob? What about Bob? I didn't know that Lewis Pullman is Bill Pullman's son.
I mean, it looks...
The clue is in the name, and he looks
exactly like him. Yeah. I did know because he was in Lessons in Chemistry with Brie Larson. Okay. And I looked and I thought, oh, he's quirky and adorable. Pullman. And Googled him. I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, he looks just fucking like him.
Yeah. Is Bill Pullman the one who passed away?
I think he's gone, right? I get Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton mixed up because they were out big at the same time.
Like 90s
90s.
dads.
Although Pullman was attractive, Paxton was not.
Whatever.
Wasn't Paxton Twister, Pullman Independence Day? Like the same fucking year or whatever. So
Paxton was True Lies.
Possibly, yeah, but not hot, right? Yes, he was the
Weasley
the lame
guy.
yeah. See, so he's not hot. He's gone.
Right. So Robert Reynolds, know very little about Sentry, but obviously this is a character that's introduced in this film, and we end up wanting to see more, which I think is the bottom line when it comes to characters being introduced. Same. Bob is a character that is written with mental instability, and obviously, how do we say? Like, it's when you portray a character that has some sort of mental
health issues,
you have to be very careful, because obviously there's a lot of people who have these issues who might feel like they're not being portrayed very well.
It's very much a comic book trope that they love to give people multiple personality disorders and stuff like that.
Do you remember the fad of multiple personality disorder?
The comic books loved TV shows. They loved it. What was it?
Orphan Black was one of them. Was that one of them?
I think she was multiple people though, wasn't it?
Okay. There was a John Cusack one called Identity. So yeah, it was a big thing. Oh, Being John Malkovich? That's not really one as well. That's kind of a spin-off of that kind of thing. Multiple personality disorder. Me, Myself, and Irene. I think it's called Identity. It was John Cusack and random white woman actor who was big at the time. It was all the fad. But then people are like, oh,
split personalities.
Moon Knight.
Yes, that's more of this. I feel like Bob is more like his mental health issues. They don't specifically say it. He's a drug addict.
Yeah.
And superpowers cause problems for people who are not of sound mind.
Sure.
They kind of, I feel, they didn't put too fine a point on it.
No, they don't go into a lot of detail, which I think was okay, because you don't want people. That's not the point.
No.
I mean, the only thing that they sort of mention, I think, is basically like this super soldier serum, whatever it is, and obviously there's different variations of it. It just amplifies who you are. So why when Steve Rogers took it, just made him like a super good guy.
More of a hero, yeah. I liked Bob. I didn't love him. I thought he was adorable and cute, but didn't feel like he was going to be a breakaway character. Which I think is fine.
Fine. He's still around. It's not like a one-off thing that was just dismissed.
And he's a useful one to have. I think similar to what you were saying, like get you to care about him, have him be there, because later on the Void can come back, and that can be a problem they face in Secret Invasion or that sort of stuff.
He's definitely confirmed for Doomsday, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. So yes, he is. He was on the chair, which I think is smart, because it was like, let's focus on his human side now, and it's cute, and it makes you care about him. The fact that he's still there, but they're like, he stays at home and that sort of thing. So he's the kind of adorable character that could cause problems later on. I think that's fine. Yeah, that's cute.
And his power set is not explicit either, but his very brief fight scene at the top of Avengers Tower, whatever it is, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, cute. Power of 1,000 exploding suns, or whatever it says in the comic. A million exploding suns. It says that's what it is in the comic books.
Yeah,
and so they reference it. It's like, that's cool.
Reference it, and I thought it was like a reference to sort of like they were trying out different taglines.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's a PR line that we're workshopping.
It's a PR line.
Great. And I think that's awesome.
His CGI, because obviously they increased his height when he's in the Sentry suit, was a little bit off, but I think it was mostly okay.
The CGI with the fight was just a tiny bit janky with all of them when he was blonde. That was a little bit CGI, but I like the fact that it wasn't a big part of the rest of the film. Like, it wasn't a CGI heavy. I mean, the effects, I'm sure there was a bazillion of them, but it wasn't computed. It wasn't too heavily dependent on that. It felt a little bit more, because that's what the characters are. That was the vibe. It's not about. Yeah,
I don't think that there was a lot of CGI in this film. I think they were able to, because I saw that they. I mean,
everything is technically, every frame would have been CGI, but not a.
There's more practical effects in this film than there are in other Marvel properties, including when Florence Pugh jumps off the. When she jumps off
the building in Malaysia.
In the very beginning,
That was her.
Literally her. And
Was it? It wasn't her actually free basing though, was it?
not.
No, because that's A, illegal. B, you would die.
You would die.
You would literally die.
I don't know if I can
but
do
she
that.
did jump off the side bit.
Yeah, like there's with wires, obviously as well.
Yeah. No kidding.
No, but I mean like,
yeah.
Could you imagine if it was just like you jumping onto like a soft cushion, whatever?
Yeah.
Thousands of stories, whatever.
It's a lot of stories.
A lot of
It's
stories.
a long way up. But they did, yeah. So it felt. I liked that. It was a lot of
Practical effects, and that was good. I liked it.
What was the budget for this? Was it a high budget kind of thing?
Should I check? So the budget was 180 million. I don't know how that compares with other things, but as of recording, it's been the profit has grossed over $330 million. Fifth highest grossing film of the year so far.
That's not that impressive though, is it? It
No,
doesn't
no.
sound super impressive.
Just reading stats that I found. So we figure out what's in the lead.
Figure out what?
Oh, highest grossing films. Oh my god. Well, the highest grossing film is that Beijing, the Chinese one, Neja 2.
Yes, I saw that. That's like 2 billion or something. Like it's crazy.
2 billion worldwide, over 2 billion.
That's
worldwide
crazy. I'd never heard of it until today.
And in second place, Minecraft movie. Of course, almost a billion, 900 million. And then after that is Detective Chinatown, 1900. Never heard of it. And then after that is Captain America Brave New World.
So it made more money.
Although Thunderbolts is still out, so it could.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Detective Chinatown 1900 is a Chinese comedy mystery buddy film with people that I've never heard of. With a special appearance by John Cusack and Chow Yun-fat.
Oh. Throwback to the 90s. Jeez.
Anyway, so Thunderbolts, 180 million.
So it's not like it's an indie fucking one.
True. Just to round off the characters, let's talk about Bucky. Because,
we completely ignored Ghost, but sure.
Oh no, we'll talk about Ghost as well.
But yeah, my only thing with Ghost is like I don't think she had enough screen time, but possibly because there's too many big characters, and I think she's a lovely actress. She just can't compete.
Yeah,
on that.
She's been in what's the TV show that she was in? Was it
Black Mirror?
Oh, she did an episode of Black Mirror, yeah. But she's well known. Was it Misfits? Was she in Misfits?
Oh, probably
something like that. So I just think that her, in terms of commanding the screen, I don't think she can compete, and that's not a dig.
That's
on
not
the actor.
well, because the others have been in a lot of properties, or they're just a bigger character and sort of stuff. So
she was in Killjoys.
Okay, she's the only one with powers, and they're cool fucking powers.
She didn't get of the four that survived the incinerator at the beginning. She never touches Bob. And you never see what's in her.
What's hers? Oh.
And so I thought it was really interesting how you get a flashback to Valentina's childhood. Like that was interesting and worth looking for character development. Obviously, you get Bob or John Walker's, and obviously Yelena because that's kind of the point. Alexei, don't really care as much about her, but I would have liked something because obviously they all come through the void to help Bob and Yelena. Some kind of reference to what they saw. Especially Ghost. Why not? Give her something. Give her have her sort of notice something that she is unnerved by, and then continues on her way, just to give the viewers oh, there's something that she's.
But it's almost as if if you give everyone enough screen time, and the story is too much going on and too distracting. It's almost easier to leave her as this kind of backup character because it makes the pacing a bit quicker rather than okay, now we're gonna stop for her.
I don't want to stop for her. I want her to be I want to have some acknowledgement of.
Well, you're not going to get it because it's done. So, do you think she'll be in stuff?
Is
she coming back?
I think she's.
She did get an and. I remember thinking that. It's does she really get
I think it's because her first appearance was so long ago.
Yeah.
She's
been in it longer than all of them. Yeah.
Which was the second Ant-Man in the Wasp film, which again was not amazing. Better than the third one. Anyway,
we'll get into that.
She is definitely she had her name on the back of a chair as well, didn't she?
Yes, she would have. Yeah. So she'll be in Doomsday. There's no guarantee she'll be in Secret Invasion.
We'll see.
It's so many people.
It's still being written, probably.
There's so many people. Oh my god. Ugh. And that's not all of the people.
They're trying. Obviously, side note to Doomsday. Go back to that episode. Listen to it if you want to hear more about our thoughts about Doomsday. But they're clearly trying to make it like an Avengers Endgame kind of. Everyone's going to be in it. It's going to be such a big thing. And it's like that's not the point of what that.
It's
film
almost
was.
It's almost as if they haven't learned their fucking lesson.
No, they haven't, because the lesson should have been we like the stories being completed, not just the fact that the characters were there. We don't, it's not the fact that.
And we had Deadpool and Wolverine for our nostalgia bait. Why are you doing it again? Anyway, so let's round this off with Bucky then. Because I thought he'd get more of an arc. Like the way that the comic book quiz talked about it. They rave about him because they love Bucky. And it's like, he got his story. And I'm like,
Did he?
Did he?
He's a congressman.
And then not.
And then he wasn't.
Very quickly not.
Or is he still? I don't know.
Can you be a serving congressman when you're in the military?
Oh. Because in the military.
Because he's a government-sponsored superhero now.
Somebody pointed out as well that the district that he serves in, I think they mentioned is Brooklyn, which, by the way, is Hakeem Jeffries' district at the moment.
Is it Brooklyn or is it Queens? Because he was from Queens.
He's from Queens, but I think he represents Brooklyn.
Okay.
I think that somebody said that. I could be wrong. And heaven forbid I ever be wrong on this podcast.
Good Lord!
But
ruin our track record.
Hakeem Jeffries, who's like the minority leader in the House, projected to he would be like if Democrats were in power in the House, he'd be Speaker of the House. Anyway, probably. And someone said, because when there's a vacancy in the House, unlike in like the Senate or some other seats, you don't get appointed. You wait until there's an election. So you can't just sort of say, there's a vacancy, I'm going to appoint somebody to fill it in temporarily. You have to have an election. So people had to have voted for him to represent that district. So obviously, considering his past as the Winter Soldier, he's been through the therapy. He's done all the hard work in terms of rounding out his story. He's 110 years old or whatever.
You know what? I don't want to slag off your country, but if they had a problem with like old criminals being in your government, I think we'd have a very different political landscape.
I'd allow that comment. It's
we do.
It's funny because it's true.
It's also not funny.
It's not funny
because it's true.
The point is that if they wanted him to be part of the Congress and also be a superhero, they could probably find a way to make it work. Okay, cool.
So we'll see. I can't imagine that they'll have time in any upcoming properties to talk about Bucky's political career.
I do like how when he's at the ball where he's scoping out Valentina and he gets stopped by the other congressman.
Yeah.
And he's like, I picked this spot because it's the blind spot of these two cameras. And the congressman's like, dude, just do the reading.
Just what are you talking about?
This is Congress. Just do he can't get rid of his military background. But then the only thing that Valentina says to him is, you lasted less than a term or whatever it is. I don't know if that's a threat or if it's a recitation of like some news that we didn't get to. So it's not explicitly said that he's no longer a congressman. That's all I'll say.
Or he quit.
Or he quit, or he just sort of gets kicked out because, oops, I blew up. I'm back to my military antics again. I mean, they'd have to do like a George Santos on him and like have a hearing, discipline him, kick him out, have a vote, kick him out, whatever. I don't know how it works.
I liked his appearance. I liked the motorbike flippity thip thing. That was fun.
That's a reference to Terminator. Did you know?
It looked very Terminator because he was doing that.
Yeah.
I did when it was, him in his shirt and showing up. It's like, how many fucking films has this guy been in?
A lot.
He's been in more than anyone.
Oscar-nominated Sebastian Stan.
Because he's not. Yeah.
Is like, he's still a star. I remember him in Once Upon a Time.
I remember him in another political show where Sigourney Weaver was running for president as his mum, and he was the gay president's
really
kid, and he had big gay sex scenes with lots of gay people doing gay sex stuff.
And the name of that film,
I cannot remember.
Let's leave a gap so you can fill it in later. The name of that film is...
It's a TV show.
Oh, damn it. Okay. And the name of that TV show is...
Political Animals.
Yes, the thing is, like, you can tell that he's been the longest serving member of a Marvel superhero because he has all the skills. He's able to track down that, Red Guardian Jalopy very quickly and does all the superhero moves. He knows how it works. He's trying to be a congressman. It's not really working because that's not his thing. Like, he's trying to turn a new leaf and become a new character with new intentions, but he can't get rid of his old life. You got to do what you're good at, and he's good at, superheroing.
Yeah, so cool. He's in it. He's going to be in the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one.
Until he dies.
Until he's 90. So, it's fine. I don't have a huge amount of love for Bucky.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan's awesome,
really
but I just don't.
All,
there's no hate. I just don't really have a lot of.
You got a metal arm? Cool. That's about it. That's all he knows.
Spider-Man,
yeah. He's there. So what? No one has powers. We just punch and shoot. It's so as a whole, this film is so last thing I want to talk about.
Yes.
Thunderbolts is how self-referential it is. How much it knows that it's an ersatz replacement for the Avengers, in terms of not just lines, where the fact that they're just a ragtag team. It's part of the story. It's kind of the point. And nobody has power. They just punch and shoot. No one has a special suit. No one has like trick arrows or whatever. And it still works. And even at the end, when they announce that, these are the new Avengers, that whole tableau of these newspapers going, who, what, how, who's this person? Like, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and I kind of feel like the producers or the writers, whoever, they know that people are going to be like, yeah, you can't ever replace the Avengers. So let's lampshade it, and let's play into it, and sort of say, no, we think this too, and so just go with it. It's kind of a way of them saying, we know that this is not... we know that we're not going to replace the Avengers, so we're going to make it part of the in-house story, the in-universe story.
You got there eventually.
I got there eventually.
Being hell.
I'm still working on it.
I've forgotten what I was going to say. Doesn't matter.
Self-referential. No one punches and shoots. Everyone just punches and shoots.
Yes.
New Avengers. The tableau at the end.
But they're not bad guys, whereas the New Avengers, when the Thunderbolts became the New Avengers, ITC, they were villains. Like, they were bad guys. Whereas these are just like, you.
But they were meant to
so
be.
I wonder if they're going to do anything. It doesn't have the same weight.
Sure.
Now. Although we're going to have the friction between them and Sam's team.
Right.
Although, did you watch Brave New World?
I did. Did you not?
No.
Okay.
Does Sam have a team in that?
No, he basically he has Joaquin Torres, the hottie.
So hot. Oh my
god. Who becomes the new Falcon.
Yeah.
In Brave New World, just to go through very, very briefly, like, he is approached by Harrison Ford, the new president. And Harrison Ford, what's his name again? Ross.
Thunderbolt
Ross. He's like, I need you to start a new Avengers. And Sam's like, I'm not sure if that's really what I'm meant for. And then there's a whole sort of international conflict, which is built up very well. Turns out it's the leader that's kind of manipulating everybody. Sam eventually stops it. Joaquin gets injured, and that kind of motivates him to sort of say, I'm gonna now that Thunderbolt Ross is in prison because he's a threat. I'm gonna decide to start the Avengers. Like, he comes around to it. That's the kind of the
okay, but he doesn't put a team together. He doesn't have anyone in mind.
He just he decides at the end to start it. And I think as soon as Joaquin is out of hospital and recovered from his injuries, whatever, he's gonna put a team together. And so, in terms of timeline, I feel like if Valentina's gonna claim these new Avengers, whatever, and there's like a copyright fight 14 months later.
Yeah.
Why 14? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I'm sure there's a very specific reason. I don't remember.
I think it has to do with the Fantastic Four. Of course. But, like, this team has been existing for 14 months, and they've been doing things. They're clearly trying to be good.
But also, it starts several months after Brave New World, so we could have put a team together.
I think so, yeah.
In the same time.
I think so, yeah.
Is there anyone left that we know of still active in universe that he would go to?
You
recruit?
mean Sam?
Yeah. Who's going to be on this other team?
I don't know let's go through them, because we have Thor, who knows where he is at the moment. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got he's got a daughter to look after now.
Somewhere.
Hawkeye is kind of not in it anymore.
Yeah.
Not sure. Would they approach Kate Bishop instead? Is she? Because I kind of knew that they were kind of hinting very obliquely at the idea of a Young Avengers.
Which is taking so long. I feel like it's too long now. Let's just not bother. Because the Young Avengers scoops up a lot of those other characters that could be, but they're not going to be Avengers. Like they'd have to be
Young Avengers.
Yeah.
What about Captain Marvel? Is she around?
Yes.
She could be. She's an option. Spider-Man?
Yeah, because if Ms. Marvel's around, Captain Marvel's around.
Yeah. Spider-Man?
No one knows. So do people remember Spider-Man, but they don't remember either of them?
They know that Spider-Man exists, but they don't know who Peter Parker is, basically.
They don't remember Peter, but they know Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I'd say he's an option.
Definitely.
I mean, Ant-Man is back.
Yes, true. Yeah,
as much as we prefer that he should have stayed in the quantum realm. That would have been such a more interesting thing. He's back. Wasp is around, I suppose. I mean, why not? I don't like the fact that she's like, "Oh, I'm just heading up this company now. That's my storyline." Like, no,
my
go be a
shitty
hero.
haircut. Oh God.
And she's a bit anti-vax as well.
Yeah,
I think anyway.
Yeah.
That I know.
Yeah, actually, don't pull at the thread. That's quite a few Sam could have in his. I don't think sorry.
Wolverine.
No. He's not in the universe yet.
Not yet.
I don't think Carol would be on it.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about Carol in our next episode.
We need to talk about Carol.
Yeah, I think he's got a good.
Okay, so there's definitely enough there. If they're all gonna show up, though. God.
Basically, let's look at whoever's already been confirmed to be in Doomsday, and
I don't think any of those ones aren't.
None of them. Brie Larson.
Nope.
Oh, she's not.
Definitely was not.
Yeah.
Definitely was not.
An oversight.
I don't think Paul and Evangeline were on there, were they?
I don't remember.
Nope. I think it's just all this lot.
Very limited females.
Yeah, there were 3 of them, wasn't there?
Oh, Black Panther as well.
Letitia
Wright.
Ghost.
Ghost.
Florence
Pugh. There's a couple others. I don't remember. Go back and listen to the episode if you want to.
Anyway, sorry, yeah, just to see if that's going to be a plot point, because the next time they're going to appear is.
What's the next film then? The next film that's due out is the next film going to be?
Oh,
fine.
Dumbass.
After that, what's the next in-universe film? That's a different universe.
I think Doomsday.
Doomsday and then Secret Wars.
I don't know. They may have some shit in between those two.
Might
There may be like another Spider-Man or something in between it.
Well, they'll change it like they always do. We can get excited as we want for the next, like, oh, here's the scope for the next 3 years. It's not going to be
It's
that.
It's never been consistently what it said.
Okay, good. So let's talk about the final end then, and like the next film, because obviously we have.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think about the end credit scene, the post credit scene?
It was fine. It wasn't mind blowing. I thought it would be a little bit more of a surprise. Like, first of all, we all know the film's coming out. We've seen the trailer. And so you see them, and then they see a ship coming, and look, it's the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Okay.
I quite like that. I like that they're going back to, we're just going to set up the next film instead of revealing some random thing that's
rather than overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only
Drop
thing
hints at other plot points like Sam's lawsuit, whatever. Like, okay, fine. We can speculate about that, but then obviously just set up the next film.
But it does show that, I don't know, does it imply that they're coming from another universe or another time? Because no one's ever talked about the Fantastic Four. So they're not there. They didn't help. So they're coming from somewhere else.
I think that it's strongly implied that it's another universe. Because the only time we ever seen a Reed Richards was in 838, Universe 838 in Multiverse of Madness. And even then, Doctor Strange makes some quip about being a boy band in the 60s, whatever, which could be nothing, which could be just a stupid line. But considering it's a futuristic, what is it called? Not steampunk, but like the fact that it's like 60s technology.
Retrofuturism,
yeah.
I love that.
I think it could very easily be technology of like advanced technology in a 60s theme, but still be technically like the year 2025 or whatever year. But then on the other hand, like if they're traveling through universes, they could very easily come from a different time as well. It could just be like a futuristic retro universe that's 400 years in the past. Who knows? I don't think it matters that much. But I think that the important thing is like it's definitely separate from ours, which is also where the X-Men are going to come from, which is also where Doom's going to come from. And is Doom come from the same universe as the Fantastic Four? You don't care. You don't care about Doom. You don't care about Robert Downey Jr. as Doom.
I just don't. You
will.
I mean, I'm gonna watch all of it. Of course, I'm not an idiot, but
you'll watch it.
I just can't get excited by it.
About the Doom stuff.
By any of it. Well, I'm not even getting excited by the Fantastic Four because that fucking abortion of a film still haunts us. It's like I can't trust that it's gonna be good.
Which one are you talking about?
The last Fantastic Four film
I never
in
saw
2014. I feel like at best it's going to be fine.
We've talked about Fantastic Four in film and how they work or not work as before. We won't rehash it now, but like
fine, nice wrap up.
You'll watch it because of Pedro, and
hell
you'll
fucking
be like,
yeah. I like all of them. I think all of them are very good actors. It's just weird. I don't know.
You'll watch it for Lady Surfer, whatever we're calling it now.
Sue Storm. I want Sue Storm to be in charge.
I think she will be. I think it'd be great.
I hope so.
That's our overview of Thunderbolts. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you have any comments or questions or concerns, or did we get something wrong, let us know. You can email us at incompletegeekspodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you, and we read every single email. If you want to get in touch on TikTok, we do. If you want to get in touch on TikTok or Instagram, we also like hearing from you as comments on there. Our handles are at @incompletegeeks. We post things regularly. If you want to help out the channel in any way, please give us a 5-star review on this episode. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, then ignore that instruction or do it anyway.
Just do it anyway. If you'd like to support the channel in another way, you can visit our Patreon, which is patreon.com/gaygeeks. Yes. Join us there. Get in touch. Throw some cash if you want.
If you want to. It is free, or you can join the community for as little as $1 a month. That's not even a bowl of cereal.
It's not. Yeah.
Every little bit helps. Please get in. We like having a community. If we got anything wrong, I mean, you can let us know, but we're really sorry. We're not complete geeks.
But we are working on it.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.